Hello guys, it's your Fessick here today, and I have another daily update on the markets for you. So today is kind of a bloodbath, and it's not gonna be pretty to talk about at all. So let's just get started, and let me clarify right here that tomorrow, because the markets are closed, I think everything's gonna be a little more dramatized today than it should be, than it probably realistically would be if the markets were open tomorrow. But since the U.S. markets are not open tomorrow, people are worried like that stuff's going to happen tomorrow in the business world, and their money's going to be stuck until Thursday. So part of that could fuel on the panic, and you'll see exactly what happened today in the markets. So the Dow closed down 800 points, which is 3.1%, and the S&P 500 closed down 3.24%, 90 points. So it's a big drop, and I think part of it's panic, but a big part of it is the economy could be slowing, could be entering recession. I think that's the fear for a lot of this down day bloodbath. So Toll Brothers announced their earnings today, and they struggled. And I think this can, just as I believe I've said before, the housing markets had been struggling the entire year. Housing market's been doing terribly the entire year. And I think this is fears of a slowing market. People aren't going to buy homes if they feel it's going to lose value over the next 2 years, No one's going to buy homes right now. And to be granted, the housing market has gone up in a lot of places. And things are crazy expensive now where they really shouldn't be. So I think that's something what we do want to look at. And I don't think that is the only thing though. There's a report, I believe, that the trade revenues, or not revenues, that's not the right word, but trade like imbalances and shipping slowed in every nation in the world, which could mean international trade, international economy is slowing. People aren't buying as much. People aren't shipping as much to and from each country. So this could definitely cause panic and issues in what people feel that markets are going to mean. And I think I'm going to say this one more time. We're going to hear a lot of it today. Since the markets are closed tomorrow, no one wants to keep their money in there if they're thinking of getting out, right? People are going to panic, and no one really wants to get their money in there because because if anything more happens tomorrow, especially if they're in the 800-point Dow today, panic, and markets are all psychological. So I think it'd be very something. If you want to get out, I could clearly see when to get out now, rather than wait till Thursday to see what happens. In other markets like Asian markets tonight, and just all around. So I think that is something, a valid concern to look at. So that's something. Another thing is, financials were hit hard from a yield curve, inverted itself, but also off the sales of housing. Toll Brothers failed, or not failed, but like didn't meet their estimates and lost money, and I think this hurt the financials a lot today, especially regional banks who depend more on those mortgage sales to make money, to have cash, And as interest rates are growing, or rising, banks should make more money off of higher interest rates, since it's harder for them to get money. And I think financial stocks fell today because not as many people are buying homes, and Toll Brothers taking a loss. Financials or banks are worried. Are they not going to be able to sell the houses? So it could be the start, and it's a dim day, which is why I only have the red Christmas lights on in the background rather than all of them. I don't know if you could see, but it's not a fun dandy day for any more lights. So it was not a fun day. Markets, especially as I said, with the regional banks. The reason is the regional banks aren't as diversified, and those mortgage loans will account for more of the money they have. Whereas the larger banks, larger investment firms, they can take a little more risk on the mortgages, and they do take more risk. But that's not all they make money off. They make money off of a ton of stuff. high risk things, investment banking, lending to big companies. They make money all around from other things, not just the mortgage lending. Whereas the regional banks will really hit hard. We see this a lot. The regional banks, like the Russell 2000, as if you don't know, the Russell 2000 is 2,000 small cap stocks, less than 5 billion market cap. That's good. That's probably one of the best things to look at for how the banks are. How the small regional companies are compared to the large cap, like S&P 500 or Nasdaq. Nasdaq has a mix of both. Dow is 30 large companies that comprise different sectors. Dow is 30 companies, which don't mean much, have much correlation to anything else. But people do panic when Dow falls 800 points, which is why I'll mention Dow every day just because it's the easiest to access on my phone. It's all big, it says Dow down 800 points. It's still 800 points now, but S&P 500 is the one to go with, in my opinion. Russell 2000 is for small cap stocks. So what we'll see is Russell 2000 was down 4.4%. Wow. S&P 500 was only down 3.24% on the day. So you see, their small cap stocks are more volatile. They're not my choice. I would rather go with some bigger name firms, but they do have a purpose, and some people do like them. So I'll leave that there, and let me get into the yield curve. So the yield curve inverted, and what this means is this is on bond yields. What this means is that instead of the curve going down, it went up. I don't know how it works on a graph. Let me put it this way. Instead of a long-term bonds like the 6-year bonds, the 3-year bonds having the best interest rates because statistically they would, and they would be more attractive than stocks, which is what they are now, which is why part of the panic and uncertainty. How many times do I have to say this to you guys? This uncertainty is terrible. What we want to look at is this yield curve. When it inverts, it's all supply and demand what determines the rates of the bonds. And when it inverts, it means more people are putting money into like a 3-month bond or a year-long bond, and it makes that percentage return on the bond more expensive or higher than the long-term ones. And that when that inverts, technically they say it signals a recession. I'm not 100% convinced on that. What I would say is it shows that confidence is lacking in the long term, and people aren't willing to take much risk. So they're going to put it on the bond yields that have the shortest term, keep their money, and people are going to put their money there because I'm sure a lot of you guys would love to get rich quick, right? And I think in the grand scheme of things, when bond yields say 3-year bond yield is at 3% return, right? Well, what if the year bond yield went up to 3.25%? Now I know it's not a lot, but $1,000 it is a good amount. In the grand scheme of things, and why would you over 3 years? Why would you put your money in 3 or 6 years if you can make more money in less time? Right? Why? I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why I would do that. So that's a big thing. And it is part of the problem. And I think that's the biggest thing probably is the economic slowdown. And people put money in there. I think it shows no confidence. They'll lead to panic, and then the markets are closed tomorrow on top of all that. So I think all these are upsetting. So I'm looking through because there's one other thing I wanted to tell you other than Toll Brothers. China's biggest two things. China's biggest streamer service reveals details of a U.S. IPO. It's Tencent. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about it. I've never seen anyone use it that I know of. So they want to go for an IPO at $13 to $15 per share, and raise some cash. Raise about $1.2 billion. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And then Marlboro maker Ultra, as we've talked about last week, as I predicted last week, they might want to move into marijuana business, and they want to possibly purchase Kronos Group. So it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. But I do your research there because that might be interesting. I personally still am going to steer clear of the tobacco, just because in the long term I don't know how effective they'll be. I think they're going to eventually die, whereas there are newer companies that are better suited for this world. But you may want to look at that. It'll be very interesting to see how it turns out if turns out that it's real. So have fun reading about that, and I gotta go. I will not see you tomorrow. So I want you to all have a splendid day, splendid Wednesday, and I'll see you guys Thursday. We'll see what happens. Bye.